it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. I've been working on some notebook covers this week and I thought they'd make really wonderful Christmas gifts, so I thought I'd share it with you. The notebooks that I use are an A5 size, and I got these as a package of I think there was 24 of them in the Amazon store, and I'll link that down below if any of you are interested in getting the same ones that I purchased. These are really pretty colors, for one thing. The covers are plain. This one is lined, but I believe you can also get unlined ones, so if you prefer those. Or as we go through this project, I am going to be sharing, if you have just an existing notebook that you want to use, how you can adjust for this cover to fit your notebook. I'm going to show you some examples that I did already. The first one I did was this one, and this was a decorator fabric that was just like this taupe color with some white flowers. And then as I was working on it, I stitched around the flowers and then added the color with my Inktense pencils. I thought it turned out really, really great. And then the next one I did was the one that I love the bird, and I did thread painting on it. So there's so many different things you can do just to be a little bit creative on the covers. But this is the one that I messed up so you don't one. You know, it's just like I said, it's just one of those things that I tried and it didn't really work. I did not put the base fabric in here, and so it just got a little bit flimsy for me, and I don't like it as well. So we'll go over that step too as we continue with this. And then this one is another one that is a little bit bigger, and I prefer this just because you don't have such a struggle getting your book in and out. And you can, like, these are wonderful because you can replace these so easily once they're full, and yeah, just a nice little gift. And another thing about this one is this was a patchwork one. So the base is a 100% cotton canvas. And then I just did pieces, right? It's just like scraps. I did leave some of the canvas blank and I added a little stencil. I'll show you the stencil here. Someone gifted this to me and I just love it. So I just laid the stencil on there. And then I like using, I'll show you here too, I've got it in my pile. I like using the archival inks with a makeup brush to go through the stencil. These are waterproof, and I do prefer using those on a journal cover because you just never know what you're going to be laying your journal cover over. You know, if it gets wet or something, you don't want ink that makes a mess. So this is what I used, and I just used a couple different colors on there and just blended it, and then I did stitch around it too with just free motion stitching and wrote the word nature. So we'll go over all of that. Some of the basics too, the fabrics that I used, I will show you or let you know the exact measurements as we go, but I do use a piece of silk ribbon or some kind of ribbon to close it. But these close quite well on their own. They don't like gap open. So another idea for this would maybe to put one in the center for a bookmark. So either way, I mean, it's just, they're just a fun thing. You can, I think the ribbon adds a lot. You do have a piece of scrap foam. This one is fusible on one side, but you could certainly do it if you have just a scrap of a two-sided fusible. I would think you could even use a piece of foam that doesn't have any fuse on it at all. You might have to use some spray glue on it or something, like a basting spray glue. So you do need a piece of foam, and again, I will go over the exact measurements. You'll need an inside piece, which is, you can see it there. It's just the inside little bit. And then this is what I use for my base. I used 100% cotton canvas. That's what this one has in it. That's what this one has underneath the decorator print. And that's what this one I messed up on and did not add it. And I just, like I said, I like the structure of having the cotton canvas in between the layers. If you don't have a cotton canvas, possibly like a denim would work, or just some kind of fabric that's got some body to it would work. Maybe even just doing a complete interfacing on your outer fabric. You know, it's something like you might want to just experiment with. I love the patchy look. And so that's what's kind of fun about using the canvas and leaving parts of it blank, and you can, like I said, do some artsy stuff on it. And then you need your outer piece. So for instance, this one I'm gonna today, I just love this. It just has these moths or butterflies on them, and I don't know what fabric this is. Like, someone gifted this to me too. I'm such a lucky person. But this is, it looks to me like it might be a Tim Holtz. If anybody recognizes it, please leave it in the comments. I don't know what it is, but it's cool, and it actually has the word journal on it, and so I'm going to be using that. But anything would work. This is just a lightweight quilting cotton, and you can use your scraps. Like, that's what I did on this one. This one I use more of a decorator fabric, which is another option. I think that's all that I wanted to go over before we actually start. And so let's get started. I have my little booklet laying flat on my piece of foam, face down, and I'm just tracing around it for the pattern. And now I'm going to be cutting this out, but I am cutting it out a 1/2 inch larger than the template all the way around. So that's just going to give it a little bit more room for my booklet to fit. So a 1/2 inch beyond the line that I've drawn all the way around. I have my adhesive side down now on my base fabric, which is my canvas, and I want to extend that about 5 inches on both sides and about 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch on the top and the bottom. I'm going to press this I'm just flip it over and press this into place. Now, it doesn't completely iron on. Even if you don't have a fusible foam, you can also just use like a temporary basting spray and spray the foam and then lay your canvas on top. I'm just going to lay this out, and I'm just going to iron this. It just needed to get smoothed down a bit. Adding some pins. I'm going to take this to my sewing machine next, and I'm going to do some stitching. I just use the lines, the horizontal lines that are in there. You'll see it when I'm at my sewing machine, and I'm going to be using my walking foot. I just find that the walking foot is nice when you're trying to sew through this foam. Just kind of guides everything or feeds everything through your sewing machine, and you can see it there. It just feeds it through a little bit better. So I'm just going to straight stitch some of those horizontal lines, and then I'm change foot to my free motion foot, and I drop my feed dogs, and I'm just going to outline these, and I'm not getting right on the line. I just want to have those little butterflies pop. They just really get puffy on this foam. I love the look. It really has a nice quilted look. And I just have black all-purpose thread on top, and then I believe I just have a white bobbin thread in my bobbin. And you can see it there. They just get puffy and just really fun. I wanted to add an applique to the front just to give it a pop of color. I just cut this butterfly out on a piece of heat and bond light and just ironed it onto my fabric. And then remove that paper backing and just pressing that into this this piece here. And now I'm going to remove that paper backing onto this, and I wanted it just to be above the word journal, just kind of getting it where I want it. Ironed it quick, and then I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine. That piece of trim is just kind of adds some more color to it. And now for the tie, I put my tie on the foam, so I've just got it in the center there, but you do want to stitch it on the foam. So I'm going to take that to my sewing machine and just go back and forth a few times. And now you can tie this or pin it. You just don't want to sew through it. I've made that mistake. I messed up so you don't have to. And now I want to finish off those edges. I'm just going to fold it back, and I'm going to just zigzag this at my sewing machine. You can add different trims to this too. I'm going to show you what I've done in some of the other booklets here in a second. You can put lace on it, or just like I said, a twill tape or some kind of trim that you have. This one I'm just going to zigzag, but you can see this one I added a twill tape, and I believe I put like a lace on this one. So you can do different things. Okay, that's all done, and now I'm just turning those flaps, and you want to have at least a half or at least a quarter of an inch of your canvas showing. You can see it there. I don't fold that all the way back to the foam because that foam needs a little bit of place to lay down when you flip this. And now that that lining fabric, want it the same height, and then not quite as wide, and I don't finish that off at all because you don't see it. I'm just going to pin that into place. My right sides are together, so that lining is pretty side down. I do want to sew this from the foam side, that's why I flipped it over. And then you want to stitch this. I'm going to take it to my sewing machine. You stitch it again a quarter of an inch away from your foam. I have my zipper foot on. It's just a nice guide for me because it is a quarter of an inch. You again want enough space for that foam to lay down. I'm just doing my trimming now, and again you just stitch it on that long side, and then you just flip it all around and flip those corners out. You just have to work with it a little bit. I'm using a pokey tool to get my corners. I'm going to give this a quick press, kind of roll those seams a little bit and just iron everything flat. And then my final step is taking it back to my sewing machine, and I'm going to edge stitch this, and I want to edge stitch right over that ribbon, and that is it. It goes together so quick. I hope you have a chance to try this. And they make, like I said, makes really nice gifts. The little booklet just folds right in, and it's just replaceable. You can use this cover over and over again. I hope you enjoyed this, everybody. Hope you have a chance to create this week. Bye for now.